Okay, so today we're going to go way beyond the headlines and actually dig into the paper trail. We're looking at the recently unsealed court documents from the Jeffrey Epstein case to really understand the machinery that was built not just to enable abuse, but to keep everyone quiet about it.
Just listen to this. This one exchange from a sworn deposition really tells you everything you need to know about these thousands of pages. You have a lawyer asking a brutally direct question about a master list of underage females. And the answer isn't a denial. It's not no. It's one word. Fifth. This is the story of that legal wall of silence and exactly how it was built.
All right, so let's be clear about what we're doing here. This isn't about speculation or rumors. This whole explainer is built on the paper trail itself. We're just following what the actual court filings reveal about what the victim's attorneys called a very sophisticated and highly protected operation.
First up, the inner circle. And I don't mean who the media thought was involved. I mean, who did the lawyers for the victims actually point to in these legal filings? Who did they identify as the key players in this network?
So this table really lays out the alleged hierarchy. And what's so wild is that these aren't just names you've seen in the news. These are individuals with very specific alleged roles identified right there in the court documents. You've got Ghislaine Maxwell as the main recruiter, Sarah Kellen flat out described as a main co-conspirator, and then others like Nadia Marcinkova and Story Cowles named as key cogs in the machine.
And this is how they started building that case. It's fascinating, right? This is an actual sworn affidavit from 2010. In it, a lawyer is arguing that this guy, Story Cowles, is an absolutely crucial witness, and they're detailing his relationships with both Kellen and Epstein. The goal here was to prove to the judge that his testimony was essential, and maybe, just maybe, that he'd be the one person who wouldn't just plead the fifth.
So how did this whole thing allegedly work? What was the playbook? Well, the documents don't just point fingers. They lay out a very specific method. And these details come directly from the sworn testimony of victims, revealing this really disturbing and repeatable pattern.
Let's trace the alleged recruitment pattern using Virginia Giuffre's own words from her deposition. And just listen to how it starts. It's not some shady, illicit proposal. It's a simple offer for a legitimate job from someone who's telling her, you can trust me.
You see the pattern here? It's a classic three-step process, pieced together directly from testimony. It starts with something that seems totally normal, builds trust through these boring, mundane tasks, and only then does it pivot to the real purpose. It's a slow, methodical grooming process designed to completely lower a target's guard.
I mean, just think about the psychology of this for a second. The first day on the job is boring. You're getting drinks, taking messages, running to Office Depot to pick up printer ink. All of these little tasks create this veneer of normalcy, this false sense of security, which makes the sudden shift in what the work actually is even more terrifying.
Okay, so we've got the alleged players, and we've got the playbook they used. But what happened when investigators and lawyers tried to actually get answers from this inner circle? Well, they didn't just hit a wall, they hit a coordinated legal fortress.
So picture this. You're in a deposition. A lawyer asks Sarah Kellen a super basic, foundational question. Did Ghislaine Maxwell introduce you to Jeffrey Epstein? A simple yes or no is all they need.
But that's not what they got. Instead, she says, on the instruction of my lawyer, I must invoke my Fifth Amendment right. A total shutdown. And believe me, this was not a one-time thing. This was the playbook.
So the lawyers try to come at it from a different direction. They ask another key associate, Nadia Marcinkova, a similar question, probably just hoping to get some kind of corroboration, anything to work with.
And what do they get? The exact same thing. Just one word, fifth. Over and over and over again. You can flip through pages of these depositions, and it's just question after question, met with that one-word legal shield. It's a masterclass in stonewalling the entire process.
And this is so important to understand. The Fifth Amendment, right? It's there to protect an individual from incriminating themselves in a criminal case. But what's happening here? You have multiple witnesses, who aren't even the main defendants, using it in a civil lawsuit to basically create a collective blackout of information. It was a legal tool that was turned into a strategic shield for the whole group.
So with literally nobody talking, the entire case basically turned into a paper war. The real fight wasn't happening in depositions anymore. It was all happening in motions, affidavits, and legal arguments flying back and forth between the lawyers.
And this slide really gets to the heart of that paper battle.
On one side, you've got the plaintiff's lawyers arguing, hey, for discovery, the idea of what's relevant is super broad. We should get to see a lot. But on the other side, Epstein's team is using powerful tools like attorney-client privilege to say, nope, how we talk about this case among ourselves is off limits.
And get this, the fight wasn't even just about what they could ask. It was about whether they could even get these people in a room to ask them anything. There's a motion from 2016 where the lawyers are basically telling the judge, we can't find Epstein, Kellen, or Marcinkova to serve them subpoenas. We think they're dodging us on purpose. They literally had to ask the court for special permission to serve the paperwork in other ways.
So when you step back and look at all of this, you realize something pretty profound. In a case that is defined by silence, these documents, they are the story. The paper trail of motions, the evasions, the constant pleading of the Fifth, it all tells a story on its own. It paints this incredibly detailed picture of the machinery that was built first to enable abuse and then to hide it from the world.